Welcome to the NanoCap podcast. I'm your host, Will Chernlin, and I'm excited to have you join me on this journey through the world of NanoCap companies. For the past decade, I've talked to thousands of business owners across various industries. It's been an enlightening experience revealing the vast tapestries of entrepreneurship and innovation that thrives beneath the surface of mainstream media coverage. Each week, I will interview different leaders of NanoCap publicly traded companies to learn about their history, what they do now, and their future. As a reminder, none of this information is financial advice, and it is all for entertainment purposes only. Let's start this week's episode. Hi, everyone. This week we have James Sherman, CFO, and Linda Montgomery, VP of Corporate Development for ZenaTech, stock ticker ZENA. ZenaTech is an AI drone as a service, quantum computing enterprise SaaS software company with a portfolio of solutions that help business and government customers improve mission-critical operations. Thank you all for coming on the podcast.
Oh, thanks for having us.
So I'll start with Linda first. Linda, you had a kind of a career through some of the kind of coolest, newest, hippest, trendiest things as I'm looking at these different crypto companies you're working at, being early in that. And now the cool new thing is drones and being early in that. And so tell me a little bit just kind of about your career and how you've kind of chosen to be in investor relations and business development at kind of the cutting edge of things over your career, and if that's been a conscious choice or you just keep lucking into it, and how did you kind of first hear about ZenaTech and what got you excited about it?
Wow, that's an interesting question. I thought we were here to talk about the company. Sure. Well, I've been in technology. I've been in the technology sector almost my entire career, starting with IBM back in out of university, and I had the wonderful global opportunity to work around the world in New Zealand and Hong Kong, and back in Toronto, and I guess a number of other companies. And I sort of started to work for emerging tech companies, and I love innovation. I love the world of technology, and yes, digital assets and blockchain. I was in that industry for a little bit, and then I guess when the opportunity came up through ZenaTech, I just thought that was a great opportunity. And along the way, I've actually had the opportunity to take 5 companies public. And so, I started off in the marketing side and business development with emerging companies. And then along the way, I was, of course, working with emerging tech companies on the investor relations side. And so I just thought there's a great opportunity in a really exciting industry. So public company number 6. And here we are. We've been public for a year and a half. And it's a very exciting time to be part of the drone industry. There's so much growth. There's so many growth opportunities. And we're focused on business, government, and defense, which are all really, really interesting areas, and particularly with our company, which is a vertically integrated drone company. We do AI autonomy platforms with our drone as a service business. And then you mentioned quantum, and yes, we're focused on R&D for the next generation of drone solutions and drone swarms that we're going to see also.
Yeah, no, if you want to know what's the coolest, newest, hippest industry, just check out Linda's LinkedIn, and wherever she's at is where it's at. And for James, you've had a long business career too. And so I'm curious, when ZenaTech and the opportunity to work at ZenaTech kind of came across your desk, what got you excited about it, and what made you think that this is where I want to spend my time?
Well, I've actually been working with ZenaTech since the very beginning. I worked with the founder. I've been working with the founder, Sean Passley, for more than 10 years now. So I'm aware of his adventures, and I was right there at the beginning of ZenaTech when we put things together, and it's just been a very exciting adventure. I was working with Sean on an external basis. Now I've been working with Sean on an internal basis with ZenaTech directly. So it's exciting. I look forward to growing the business more. We've had some success so far, and we want to continue to put the blocks on top of each other to get to where we ultimately want to be.
So we all know drones are essentially the future in one way or another in basically every industry. And I know you all have a bunch of different things going on, from, like you said, defense tech, to you all working with surveyors, to you all having drones as a service, and also having your own drones that you guys actually created. How much of the business planning is going where the industry takes you, and how much of it is you guys think the industry is going to go in a specific direction? Because there might be things where you say, like defense tech, where you go, okay, they need drones, we probably should be there. But then there's other things like the surveying where you go, hey, this is an industry where I don't think they even know how much they need drones. And that we could go in there and make their whole industry a lot more efficient, but we need to sell them the idea first. So how do you kind of balance those two?
So we see drones taking over in lots of different areas. Amazon has drones that they're trying to use for delivery. The land tech industry is the same technology that they used since 1980s. It's due for an upgrade in technology, and it's nice because the entire industry, I think, will be transformed in the next 5 years, 10 years, or sooner if we have our choice. But it's what we look for is we look for industries that are ripe for drone technology, but for one reason or another, they have not instituted or changed over to drone technology. And the land surveying industry, the holdback there is it's so fragmented. It's made up of a lot of little companies. They don't have the technology, the expertise to switch over on their own. So that's why we took a look at them. It's been a great opportunity. We've become a leader in the land surveying industry, and so we have bigger pockets. We can convert this areas where we're focused on. We can convert them to drone technology, and we're actually becoming a leader in this one industry. But there's many more industries where drone technology can take over. And we have our eyes focused on those industries also.
Yeah, I'm curious about the surveying thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you all have already acquired multiple surveying companies. And from there, is it kind of the industry, as you said, fragmented, that it's some person who lives within 100 kilometers of one direction and they're the only kind of surveyor in town? And so since they don't get enough demand, they get no sort of economy of scale and can never kind of reinvest in R&D like you guys can. Is that kind of the play there? Is that it's hey, let's take this into the 21st century, since there's all these different independent parties that can invest in this R&D on their own?
You're onto it. They're made up of a lot of mom and pops. They don't have big footprints. You have to be licensed to be in the land surveying industry. It's a 5-year license, so you have a lot of owner-operators that are, they've been doing it for 30, 40 years. They're getting close to retirement. That's another plus for us in the land surveying industry because we have motivated sellers. They want to retire, but they can't sell their business because there's not enough new land surveyors coming on board to take over for them. And the average age of land surveyor is in their 50s. So there's a lot of motivated sellers out there. We're able to get in, do our job, and help to transform the industry. But right now in the land surveying industry, you have 4 companies doing all what our one company can do. You have a licensed drone operator, you have a licensed surveyor in 2 different companies, then you have a data conversion center, that's a 3rd company, and then you have somebody that supplies the drone. That's a 4th company. And everybody is working with everybody else's technology, and so there's waste and different things there. We do all those things ourselves. We produce the drone, we convert the data, we do the surveys, we do the actual drone flying also. So that's kind of the vision of our company, to be able to do it all in one. It's an all-in-one stop shop, providing a solution from one business to another.
And with the mineral deposits, the lumber, the farmland, all up there in Canada, I can imagine too, with you all over time getting the proprietary data of having all the surveying data in one place. It's a gold mine for AI to use you as a data source moving forward when anyone's planning any sort of significant project. So that's a really exciting field you all are in. So yeah, to get over
to have some of those, hopefully we'll have some of those gold mines as surveying and other mines.
100%. And so to get over to kind of the manufacturing side, tell me more about that. How do you combat the challenges of trying to source as much stuff locally, or at least in like North America, as possible to help out with the defense contracts, compared to, hey, it doesn't really matter as much for this land surveying company. Let's just get the cheapest part so we can help as many farmers as possible, see how much acreage they have. Like, how do you kind of balance that from the manufacturing side of things, of trying to make things as cheap and efficient as possible, but at the same time making them as secure as possible so that you can withhold and uphold certain contracts?
Well, there is a lot of regulation in this area, as you've mentioned. Somewhere between 75 and 90% of all drone and drone parts come from China, and we simply can't source there. So drone parts are cheapest from China, so some of our drones are a little bit more expensive, but they have to be for the military. The military is willing to pay a premium for non-source, properly sourced drones, not sourced from China or other countries that are providing drone parts that aren't on their approved list. And so we have to also look at where our vendors are, and we have to get certifications from them saying they're not sourcing their parts or their raw ingredients from this area or that area or this country. So it is a process to get established. And Linda was talking earlier with me about the blue and the green UAI certifications, which we're working on right now. But you've touched on the certifications, and Linda probably has more to talk about that.
Yeah, so in order to be on the procurement list for U.S. defense agencies, we need to get the green and the blue UAS, and we've had those in progress for a while for the first 3 of our drones. And this means that it sort of checks the box that they need in terms of country of origin documentation of all of our component parts, and in cybersecurity controls. So we have 3 manufacturing facilities in UAE right now, where we have a 25,000 square foot facility we've had for quite a while. We are building a facility in Arizona where we're going to be producing drones made in America drones for the U.S. Department of War and other defense agencies. And then we have a facility in Taiwan, and that's where we get our component parts and PCB boards and cameras in order for us to be what's called NDA compliant, that is required for the U.S. military.
So I'm just curious, is there a specific part, like the batteries or the gimbals or propellers, or is there a specific part that is just that much more annoying to source locally than any other part? Or is it kind of just each individual part, since they all have to be tested, they all have to be verified so much that they're individually, just there's only so many suppliers of each?
Documentation is very similar for everything, but the batteries have certain rare components in them, rare minerals. So that documentation needs to, it needs to be done to make sure that we are in the country of origin is approved. Different parts have different hurdles going through, but they all have some of the same hurdles too.
So I'm curious about which happened a few weeks ago, but the kind of mood in the office when the Department of War in the U.S. all of a sudden announces that they're allocating a substantial part of their budget just for drones. Is there anything that changes kind of day to day? Do you just keep working on where you're working on? Do you go, hey, actually, we should start 3 more initiatives and go after this many more cyber grants kind of thing? Or how do you handle that news when you hear it?
Yeah, well, we already handled that news once, in that we decided to start manufacturing in Arizona probably mid last year. Earlier than what we wanted to, just because of some of the drone dominance and some of the policy directives that were favorable to drone companies. So we've been focused on engaging with program managers. We've been focused on, there's just an entire group of grant programs and many, many programs to leverage as a drone company. And we're focused on as many of those as we can. And also we have a Washington office. We have a number of sales people focused on the military, but our Washington office and the new people we're hiring there is going to really help us further those conversations and position us for demonstration and pilot programs and ultimately the contracts that we're after.
So we've also been working with some subcontractors specifically to reach government agencies and work on these contracts. So you have to do that. We've been working in that area also.
And I'm curious from your point of view, from a software versus a hardware point of view, when you do see like a government grant that is up for grabs or a government contract, and you go, okay, we could basically do that, but we just need to change a few things in our software. Or we could do that, but we just need to add one more sensor physically to our drone. Which one are you more likely to bend towards from a strategy point of view to kind of like set yourself apart or just be able to apply to as many contracts as possible?
So we work with private organizations too, and we work with the government. We have certain people in our organization to be focused on one area or another, but we can't jeopardize the private industries that we've been working with because there's so much growth there. The government, we can't jeopardize that. We've been moving jointly ahead on both initiatives. And we've been, so the government takes a little bit longer time to get into. We're working with those hurdles, certifications that I mentioned earlier. We're working directly with those certifications to be able to better position our company to be able to get more and more government grants as well as government contracts. And that's really a key item there. And we have separate teams working on different areas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead, Linda, sorry.
We've done, it's not brand new to us. We have done work pilot programs with the Navy and the Air Force already. So, we're looking to do a lot more.
Yes, we've had several positive programs already. Doing more and getting our licensing for the blue and the green certification is going to open up the door even more. The government's excited to talk to us, but now we got to work through these certifications.
And I'm down here in Austin, Texas, and there's a lot of defense tech companies down here. And I know at the different roundtables and such I've been to that they stress the importance that you need to have a private-public business model, that they really want you to be able to have a lot of different people in like the private sector that you can sell to and innovate with, because in the government sector, it takes so much longer for a contract to get through that if you try to go feast or famine only depending on government contracts, that the cash flow may run out type of thing. And so, no, that's a very smart kind of business model between the two.
Yeah, which is precisely why we are diversified in our drone as a service business. I mean, we just announced our fourth quarter 2025 results, and our revenue was almost 13 million, which was a 558% increase over 2024. And having that diversification with drone as a service, because most of the revenue came from our drone division and from that to our business area, we're not waiting for those government contracts. We're focused on getting them, but we have diversified revenue. And also we have a software division as well. We have 12 different enterprise software brands. And what's really important is just the skill set. The software development is so important. These software developers help us with many of our drone solutions too. So that's part of our diversification.
Yeah, so to touch on those quarterly results, in your drone as a service business, which vertical within it is driving all the growth?
It is land surveys that have a lot of growth, but we also have some inspection companies. So we grow through acquisition. For us, it's the most effective way to grow and cost effective, not as well as time constraint effective way to grow. So we think we added value through the acquisitions, but so the company as it grows is actually worth more as a unit put together than it is these individual companies segregated and separate. And so that's what we see, and we're putting the companies together through acquisitions. We have a lot of inspection companies. We have the majority are land survey companies, but there are a lot of inspection companies and other companies too that we've been working with, power washing, to integrate this drone technology.
Yeah, no, if you can buy up these mom and pop land surveying companies for like 1.5, 2 times revenue, and then you're worth 7 times revenue, that just seems like, why not keep buying them? Seems like shooting fish in a barrel.
But we also look for SaaS companies that are at good prices too. We did a SaaS company recently this year. It's a real good company as far as paying back and profitability. So it's going to improve our bottom line, just that one entity. We'll look for other deals like that too in the SaaS industry.
So besides rolling up surveying companies, one of the things that makes you all interesting from a drone company point of view that I saw was your indoor drone that can help with counting inventory at warehouses and such. Tell me a little bit more about that, because that seems like something that's out of kind of more of a sci-fi film than something that people could actually use nowadays. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about kind of the start of that, because lastly, too, that drone's a lot smaller. The other drones we've been talking about, some of the drones you guys make is 4 feet long, it seems. They're very large drones compared to what someone might be used to, but the warehouse drone is kind of a smaller drone. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about the genesis of that, how that business is going.
Yeah, so the IQ Nano is 20 by 20 inch, starts at 20 by 20 inches. It's kind of a square vertical takeoff and landing of drone, and it reads the barcodes. It can do RFID as well, and puts this information into an ERP system. And basically, it's faster, safer, and a more efficient way to do cycle counts and to manage your inventory on a and know what's there on a more regular basis. And you're referring to our other drones. Then we have the ZenaDrone 1000, which is a larger drone. It's actually a medium size heavy lift drone, and it is the size is 12 by 7 by 12 feet, and it is also vertical takeoff and landing, and that one can carry up to 40 kilos. So we're looking at that in defense for ISR applications, intelligence, inspection, reconnaissance, also for cargo, and it actually has a compartment that can be temperature controlled. So we think of blood, medical supplies, blood in the field might be a good application for that. And then recently we've launched the prototypes. We're building the prototypes of counter UAS solutions. So interception drones and marine-based interceptor drones, and a launch and refueling station. That's going to be a gas-powered drone, and we think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for that. And along with that, we're also working on the prototype, or we've actually finished the prototype of the IQ Aqua, which will be an underwater drone for mines. And there we're actually going beyond, U.S. needs, yes, but other countries, Gulf countries, that's kind of what we have in mind for some of those solutions down the road.
No, exciting stuff. So as we wrap up here, you guys have listed a lot of different things, but what gets you out of bed in the morning? What gets you excited about ZenaTech? What makes you that this is what you want to spend your time doing?
It's the future, for one thing. I mean, drones are the future. We're in the very beginning aspect of drone technology. You got to think of the drone technology as kind of like where the cell phone technology was in the late 80s and early 90s. The whole industry was not profitable at the time, but everybody, all the people that were in the industry, they were trying to increase their revenue and try to get as much market share as possible. The drone technology will continue to grow in the next 5 to 10 years at a very fast rate. And everybody right now in the drone technology industry, we are all trying to grab as much market share as we can in this industry. We've been growing. That's one reason why we've been growing so fast, is because we're trying to increase our footprint. And the ones that can't grow fast are the ones that are going to be left out. They'll be the ones that are acquired. The ones that grow fast will be the survivors. And I think that's where we're going to be in the future. In 10 years from now, we're going to be one of the large entities in the drone technology, largest entities.
Yeah, and I think that drones and AI, I mean, that is, I think, what is so exciting. Drones are basically sensors that can take in so much information for applications like that we're excited about, like wildfire management. Drones can sense potential hotspots and can actually put them out more accurately, carrying, like when I'm talking about drone swarms, which we're going to see a lot more of also. In that kind of application, carrying water, fire suppressant can be far more effective. So I think that there's just so many applications we're going to see when you combine drones and AI, and that can solve lots of real world problems that we have.
Thank you both so much for everything you do and coming on the podcast. If people want to learn more about ZenaTech and what you all do, where should I send my audience?
You can go to ZenaTech.com. It's our website. Or ZenaDrone.com is our ZenaDrone drone company subsidiary website.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. And for those of you still listening, please remember to subscribe and review. Thanks.
This podcast is for informational purposes only and does not provide financial, legal, or any other advice. The information is not investment advice or any offer to buy or sell any securities or to make any investment. The views expressed by the guests are their own, and any reference to third-party products, services, or information does not constitute an endorsement, therefore, by NanoCap Podcast or its affiliates. The NanoCap Podcast express disclaims all liability for any individual's use of the information presented in